Hey everyone, welcome back. I know I don't like it either. It doesn't suit me, but it's simple. And I'm balding. I've got a huge patch on my crown and I'm almost 39. It just looks like I'm a tryhard that won't let things go. And I'm not going to do anything about trying to regrow my hair or whatever. That's just too complicated. I've just accepted, this is life and this is me. That's fine. I can look back on my cool days when I had hair. It's simple, and that's something that, really appeals to me. You know what else is simple? My training regime. And this is what today's topic is about. So, I want to tell you why I train like this. And obviously, it comes down to my circumstances in life. Life is busy, I'm getting older, I can't tolerate as much volume, or I got to be a little bit, attentive to what I do, etc., etc. So, this split matters the most to me. And obviously, you know what it is, it's full body. So before I start, I just want to say that any split works. I'm sure you guys know this by now. And I've had success with all of them, especially bro splits. That's what I started off with. And man, oh man, did I make gains for bodybuilding. I don't care what anyone says. I don't listen to anyone these days. I don't care how much of a big influencer, how much better you are than me. I know what works for me. I know what works for my clients. And like I love that. I know that sounds arrogant and that sounds like, you're closed-minded, but there's something beautiful about that where you trust in your own experience. You know what I mean? Rather than be like, wow, I love this, and someone else say something and you just get this FOMO or paralysis by analysis. So I don't have any of that. But bro splits were amazing. Then my coach, mentor at the time, Eric Helms, he convinced me to go on to a different split, kind of like a push-pull legs hybrid, So that was my first time going into like a push-pull legs hybrid. It can look like push-pull legs, upper-lower, or push-pull legs, upper, then, I don't know, weak points or something. It's all made up, I forgot what we did, but that was the first time I did it. I wasn't very comfortable, but then I got exposed to the 2 times a week frequency. And I didn't mind it at all. And then from there, I tried the whole push-pull legs, rest, or push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, whatever. I even tried upper-lower, and then I tried full body, which I disliked for a while, but it's been months now that I've been on full body, but I love it. But the reason why I love it is because I kept it simple. See, most people, myself included in the past, would try and min-max everything. Like if you tell them full body, they think you got to do everything. You got to do calves and then hamstrings and then quads and then adductors and then glutes and then low back and then lats and then rhomboids and then rear delts and then side delts and then front delt and just everything. It doesn't have to be that way. You can if you want and you have the time and if it's your passion. And as much as I love lifting, don't get me wrong, I love it. At the same time, I love being balanced. If I do another day of lifting, I'll hate it. But if I take away a day, then I'll get antsy. So I feel like I struck the perfect balance of the way I do things. Now, when it comes to full body, my philosophy is like this. Basically, I choose 4 main compound movements. I know in the scientific community, they say isolations are better because of more motor unit recruitment and you're not distributing those motor units across different muscle groups, etc. I don't care, man. When I see people who are jacked and huge, they have massive, massive barbell lifts or just compound lifts in general. So how I do it is basically I pick 4 movements. Upper body pull and push, lower body pull and push, okay? So, and that could be like anything. Now, I'm not married to any exercise. So I can just go in, for example, on Monday, there's going to be my first day back at the gym. It's Friday right here. I just finished my workout the first thing in the morning. Excuse me. I can go in and pick anything. I can be like overhead press, snatch grip deadlift, pull-ups, and front squats. I think that's... But yeah, let's do it again. Front squats, snatch grip deadlifts, overhead press, and pull-ups. That's like push, pull. Okay? So I'm not married to any of that. Now, I get that there is some merit in sticking to an exercise for weeks and months. People tell you this, like, stop changing. This is why you're not making gains. I think that's valid for novices and intermediates. But once you're advanced, once you're like me, there is no more trying to learn that skill. There is no more trying to really get into the groove and finding that nitty-gritty what works for you in terms of execution. Okay, so for me, I have that luxury. I put in the years, 19 years so far, that I can just be like, I'll do front squats tomorrow. That's fine. But in saying that, there's a caveat. I am obsessed with high bar back squats and conventional deadlifts. They are my favorite lifts. Like, that's on a Monday because I get 2 days rest in between to really, really go hard, big triples on those, and sometimes fives. So I love those. So that will indefinitely stay in my routine until I get some sort of niggle and pain that I can't do it anymore and I need to rotate it out, or B, I just get bored and I'm going to listen to my signals where I think like, you know what, I'm sick of this. I've proved my point, or like, this is going nowhere. It's wasting my time or taking up too much time, yada, yada. But for anyone else who is advanced or, is on their way to become an advanced lifter, i.e. like, you love this and you're going to stick it out for the long haul, keep that in mind. You can change things up if you ever consider doing a routine like this. It's actually really fun when a friend comes over and you guys just decide like, hey, bro, what should we do? Should we do, split squats and then hyperextensions and then massive bench presses and some heavy ass rows? Like, it just feels cool. Now, I do sprinkle in some isolation movements, especially in the mornings. And I've discussed this in my first, video, the fitness archive video. And that's basically because I train first thing in the morning, I'm not warmed up and it's winter time as well. So that makes it even worse. I have to do some sort of, plantar dorsiflexion and a knee flexion movement. So to be able to squat. So I always start off with a squat. The reason being, I feel like lower body, even though it's my favorite thing to train, it is mentally draining and taxing. You got to prep yourself mentally. Like, I like to imagine myself executing the movement beforehand. I'm getting excited. My arousal levels are high. I just want to, I just imagine myself doing it. But, I need to prepare myself as well. So this is why I do the, ankle, dorsal and plantar flexion, and then knee flexion. And then, like I said in my first video, when I get under the bar, that's doing a little bit of hip mobility. And then that's like, the trifecta. I've got my ankles, knees, and hips all warmed up. And then from there, everything else is warmed up. I go from the lower body push to the lower body pull, similar musculature. So I don't need to warm up that much, maybe one set here and there. If it's a massive deadlift, then maybe go halfway and boom. So it's kind of like that. Now, the beautiful thing about this, because you're only doing 4 big movements, you just have more energy and resources to devote to those lifts. So it becomes like really fun, really efficient, and it's not all that time consuming. It can be if you have something like me where you have to make the setup. Sometimes you need to prepare the night before. Or if you get super strong, relatively speaking, I'm only 146 pounds, but like I've got some decent lifts at this body weight. And if you are using barbell free weights, then you can't help but it will take time. Like for me, I'm averaging about an hour to maybe an hour and a half. So let's just say between 3 to 4.5 hours per week of training. And that can be a pain in the ass. But again, I do it first thing in the morning, so it doesn't really matter. Like today, I woke up at 4:30, trained at 5, finished by 6:30. That's totally fine. Everyone was still asleep. So and I keep my compounds to 2 hard sets, and my isolation is 1 set. Why? I'm not sure. This is just what works for me. And in recent times, I was having shoulder issues. Knock on wood, it's actually really good now. Just recently on Wednesdays got really good where I can do ladder raises again. So I'm really stoked about that. But even in recent times, I banged my elbow on this table accidentally. It wasn't a big hit, but it was the right hit. And I remember having a friendly back and forth with my client about him. He was saying that, why don't you try more volume? You never know. You might grow or and I have done more volume in the past, believe me. But as I age, as I get more advanced, I need less volume because I am getting stronger, but also because my exercise selection is so fine-tuned now where I know exactly what exercise really hits the spot that I need less volume. Does that make sense? So if it's a lat pull down with a different attachment, it might feel different. But if I have the right attachment and I execute it in the right way and hold myself in the right position, then it's really, really going to hit that spot. Kind of just like it was like a small bang like this. But it hurt so much, it lasted almost 24 hours. I was worried that I couldn't press the next day, i.e. some sort of like chest press or what have you. So today I was able to do extensions, and that felt really good because this was really recent. So this is what I do one set for isolations, because I feel like as much as I have love for isolations and I execute them really well, which I will show different angles and really talk in depth as to why I do this exercise, not give a tier list like yesterday, but really tell you why I find value doing it this way. I think you guys really enjoy that, maybe. But, I feel like the better you get at isolations and the stronger you get and the more dialed in and locked in you get with your isolations, the more prone to injury or overuse happens, for me at least. And plus, it doesn't help I'm pretty lean. I'm not absolutely shredded, but I'm pretty lean. So that doesn't really help as well. So one set's more than enough. And I truly think I'm getting enough stimulus from, these big compound movements. So basically, what it looks like every day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, is I will always start off with a ankle dorsal plantar flexion with a knee flexion and then pick my 4, right? But on Mondays, it's always the same because I love freaking back squats and conventional deadlifts. Anything after that, I can change. I can do pull-ups or inverted rows or dumbbell rows or seal rows or whatever. And then for the upper body pushing movements, I can do weighted push-ups, I can do dumbbell presses, I can do incline presses, I can do floor presses, whatever. But for the most part, Monday's always the same, and Wednesday pushing is always the same, which is a bench press. I'll get more into nitty-gritty details depending how this video goes into my workouts. So 2 sets, in my opinion, is more than enough stimulus for me as I get into my older years and because I'm advanced. And plus, I feel like it's more than enough stimulus for every musculature in my body. So that's all good. In regards to, what else is there? Sorry, I just want to see. Okay, 11 minutes, 12 minutes. Good. I'll just do a couple more minutes and finish. So the beautiful thing about this is that it's very realistic, and you can hit all of the main musculature. Okay, you're getting forearms during deadlifts. You're getting like hamstring work during the deadlift. You're getting quads and glutes and adductors, a bit of calves from squats, even if you don't do like a plantar dorsiflexion. If you're doing a dumbbell press that's covering the entirety of your pecs. If you're doing something like a seal row or a dumbbell row, you're getting the entirety of your back. So if you're someone who's pressed for time but wants to look good, guys, don't mistake this. I'm not doing this because I don't care about gains anymore. I love gains, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I've got a life to live and I'm doing whatever it takes to look my absolute best, but being efficient with it. That's all it is. So some people, I'm going to mistake this so he's doing it this way, so he's not really going to make gains, etc. Not at all. Believe me, I look good. I look jacked. People tell me I look jacked. When I take the shirt off and start posing, they are, and I hate to say this because, it's kind of like blowing smoke up my own ass, but they are like blown away, and so again, if you find the right isolation exercises and execute them to a point where you are so locked in, you are one with that exercise, you can't go wrong. But also with those big compounds like squats, deadlift, presses, all that, if you get relatively strong or just absolutely strong, then you just can't help but look good. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if it's 1 set or 2 sets, 2 to 3 times a week, as opposed to someone who's dedicating their whole life to lifting. If the other day I did a 3-plate bench press at 146 pounds or 147, I can't remember. Me doing a triple bodyweight deadlift. I know I keep saying this, believe me. I sound like a broken record and we get it. Yeah, we get it. But these are big ass lifts. And when I show you my isolation, how I execute them a little bit more in depth, and I'll take different angles, then you'll understand why I am in the shape that I'm in. And plus, it's been 19 years I've been consistent. It didn't take me 19 years to get to this point, but I'm just saying, it's consistency and trying to refine, find small details. So this is why I love full body. I don't know if I said this or not, but I'll just say before I close off, the last point I love full body is because it lets me tackle my body in all facets. So for example, my favorite thing to train is lower body. It's just my favorite. I just feel so empowered when I do a snatch grip deadlift or a front squat or a back squat, conventional deadlift, RDL. I just feel like I just walked out and I feel accomplished. I don't know what it is. Excuse me, gassy today. But at the same time, I love getting that pump in my chest, from pushing hard on the bench press or dumbbell presses or incline presses, and then doing some arm work and side delts, and then taking a photo or video. I just feel pumped. I'm like, wow, this looks great. But also at the same time, I love doing back work. I love pull-ups. They're fun to do. You're just pulling yourself up. What's there not to like? But I also love doing back work like inverted rows or any sort of horizontal shoulder abduction, i.e. reverse pec deck or steel rows or barbell rows, just for the sheer fact that I kind of think in my head, the bro science paranoia, like, oh, this is helping with my shoulder health and stuff like that. But if I have them in isolation, like if I just train legs, I just feel like, oh man, like that was a good session, but I always pose, man. Whether I take a video or photo, I always pose. There's a mirror right here. There's a mirror in the shower. So like I'm always like, yeah, looking good. I know that's vain. I'm just being transparent with you guys. And I'm going to look back on this and I'm going to be like, that's why I did it like that. It's going to be good to look back on this. Plus, I want to be honest with everyone and myself. But if I just do chest and triceps and side delts or arms, and all together, that's a great workout, but I can't do it all the time. Unfortunately, I'd love to do it all the time. That's like my favorite thing to get. Like every time I finish that, like, oh my God, I'm feeling the pump. I can't wait to, see it or take a video and see what I got. And then back days, like pull days were so depressing. When I used to do push-pull legs, oh my God, like ironically, it's my best part on my physique, just genetically speaking, but I hated it, man. I was just going through the motions. It's so boring. That's just me. So this is why I love full body. It's quick, efficient, gets all those facets. I feel a little bit more athletic. And if I miss out a day or two, I have to take a break in between, then, it's not the end of the world, which actually is another topic in and of itself of how I structure my training, which I think you guys would appreciate. But if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Hopefully these has been worth your time watching. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in. Cheers.